Precipitation is formed in one of two ways: coalescence or aggregation. In coalescence, the water droplets fall from the clouds and they collide with each other until they're heavy enough to reach the surface. In aggregation, it is ice crystals and really cold water, and the water and the ice crystals collide together until they fall to reach the surface. Rain is water droplets that fall from the clouds and they reach the surface. Sleet is also water droplets that fall from clouds, but they freeze before they reach the surface. Hail is when you have a really high updraft in the clouds, and the clouds are really tall, so the top part of the clouds are freezing. So when the water droplets get pulled up into the updraft, into that high part of the cloud, they collide with the other droplets and they freeze and they create hail. Well, after so many times of doing this, the hail, which becomes hail balls, will get heavy enough to fall down to the surface. Snow is formed when the atmosphere is freezing, and they form up in that atmosphere and they fall to the surface, and they will remain snow as long as the surface is still frozen. Air mass is described in two ways: as warm air or cool air. So in a place where there's more cool air, there's going to be a lower humidity. And in places where there is warmer air, there's going to be a higher humidity. Like places in Oklahoma, we have a pretty high humidity. Well, since the temperature can change, so since we have a high humidity all the time, pretty much, when cold fronts come through, the temperature that comes with the cold fronts, they mix with the temperature that we already have, and it's going to be warmer than the cold front. So when they collide, the temperatures that we already have, those parcels, they can't go back to where they were. They keep moving up and down, which creates an unstable atmosphere, which in that case can turn around and bring tornadoes because we are in an unstable atmosphere. The lifting of air is important because when air lifts into the sky, it cools and it forms the clouds, which clouds, bring rain, sleet, snow, all of that. So in the first one, there are 4 methods of airlifting. We're only going to talk about 2 right now. The first one we're going to talk about is convergent. In convergent, there are 2 airs coming from more than one place. So in the picture, you see how it has arrows going towards the cloud and then up. So air is being pushed from both sides inwards, and then it starts going up to form the clouds. And this happens a lot when we have storms and stuff. And the other one, in orographic lifting, it's mainly like a mountain or someplace like that. So the warm air gets pushed up one side of the mountain, and when it gets pushed up to one side of the mountain, it cools, and then it comes back down as rain or whatever type of precipitation, but then it doesn't go across the mountain. It doesn't go all the way across the mountain, it just stops on that one side. So on one side of the mountain, you have a really green side with good vegetation, and on the other side, you have a really dry side of the mountain with no vegetation, because when the warm air gets pushed up, it cools, and so then precipitation happens, so it doesn't continue going to the other side of the mountain.